But again, this interview, this whole process here is about my philosophy about fighting. I fought because it was the only way I could distinguish myself. I could somehow bring myself above the normal. And I've always, it was a sense, it was an instinct that told me that I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be like everybody else. I wanted to be unique. I wanted people to see me and say, wow, that guy is somebody, he's something he can do. And fortunately or unfortunately, fighting was the only thing that I really believed. I mean, I really believed I had a chance in succeeding at, in doing that, to say, you know, with a certain amount of work, with a certain amount of discipline, with a certain amount of focusedness, and I can achieve this. I can be as good as anybody else in this world. There was no doubt in my mind that I could, and still at 45 years old, I really believe that. I still think I can do it. That hope is still alive within me. And then, you know, you have all kinds of elements that are constantly, you know, obstacles that are showing themselves while I'm going through this process of, you know, making something of myself, something unique, something different that I can feel I succeed in this life. I can feel that I left something behind, a name, something. It takes an incredible amount of preparation to fight. We're talking about from diet, we're talking about discipline, we're talking about so many temptations in our lives. You know, you're gonna meet a girl, you're gonna meet this, but I also know that I'm gonna be a good fighter if I'm gonna go to bed early and get a sufficient amount of sleep so I can train the next day. It's very important that my mind is totally focused, totally tuned at what I want to do, which is fighting. So everything that would try to interfere with that thought, it has to be eliminated. I cannot walk into the gym thinking about a girlfriend, thinking about a business deal, thinking about something that somebody told me, well, in there mentally and physically or either of, I'm prepared. So, you know, people speak of meditating. I would imagine there are many forms of meditation. What I think of meditating, I meditate. I bring these images in my mind, images whether they are of me fighting, you know, just to see that perfect technique, to see the chorus, to see the whole game together, or whether is it of my workout that I just said the day before, and all the little mistakes that I've made in there because I wasn't totally tuned up at what I was doing, whether it was my hook, I was not thinking, my body was not positioned right. So yeah, I have to spend a certain amount of time before my workout, on my way to the gym, while I'm at the gym, while I'm stretching out before my workout. And I have to bring these images in my mind of myself going through the motion and then get into the movement, whether it's the combination, hook, uppercut, punch, follow up a kick, try to have the right technique for my knee and constantly stay on my base. No matter what I do, I always end up on my base. And above all, try to relax. I have to be totally relaxed. I have to be able to breathe. The type of fighting that I'm involved in. It requires certain elements, certain workouts. It's almost like a decathlete. I have to train as a boxer. I have to train as a kickboxer. I have to wrestle as a wrestler, as a jiu-jitsu grappler. I have to train, you have to be flexible. So you can have the range of motion to be able, the ability to perform the movement, the technique, the range of motion that is required in that specific technique. For instance, if the extension that the knee needs, or the extension that you need to kick, or and at the same time, being flexible, it will just minimize the injuries, the amount of injuries, which is on my worst enemies, or any fighter's worst enemies. You don't want to have injuries. You don't want to waste time sitting in bed, babysitting yourself, and it does happen. It's part of the game, but I want to minimize it. And being flexible, it's a big part of that. I have to work on balance with Tai Chi movements. It's important to be able to have good balance so you can deliver. You have the power, you have the base to perform the technique. I need explosiveness. So I have to do a certain kind of workout that would bring the most explosive movement I can possibly master. I need strength. I need endurance. So I have specific workouts in all of the above. I go and train with professional boxers, I train with professional kickboxers, I train with some of the best grapplers in the world. And I have some great trainers. I'm so fortunate to be in a place, Los Angeles, where I can have so much talent from so many different cultures that bring me so much information and have the best, unbelievable masters to have the, when you train, you want to get the best. You don't want to go over there, waste your time learning, the wrong techniques, or wasting your time with someone who doesn't really, like a doctor. If I'm going to break my knee, I want the best doctor to fix my knee. I want to do my homework. I want to find out who is the best doctor who's going to fix my knee or whatever injury I have. The same thing with a trainer. I want the best trainer. And like I said, I'm so fortunate to be in a place where there is so much talent and there's so many great trainers, so many great masters in this town that can help me in this journey. I cannot emphasize. I cannot put enough emphasis on the importance of diet. It's like a race car. If I have to use an example, it's about as simple as I can make it. It's the fuel. You're gonna get high performance. You're gonna have to put high performance fuel in your body. So I spend a lot of time, and everybody has different metabolism. For me to stay here and start going through a whole process of my diets and all that, it may not work for everybody else. And at my age, I have plenty of time to learn what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And then it requires an incredible amount of discipline. Because spending, it takes a lot of time and a lot of preparation to have the right food available. So I can, when I go to the gym, I have enough energy and I'm not tired out, that I can get maximum performance, and I'll be tired in the middle of my workout simply because I didn't eat enough, or I ate too much, or I didn't eat the right food, or whatever. So that is extremely important. And what I find out when I break that discipline, which starts that simple discipline from diet, sometimes I can break off and says, it's okay, I'll start Monday and I'll eat better from Monday. That weekend I'll go out of my mind, I'll eat every junk food in front of me. So it's funny. when I'm disciplined on one thing, I'm disciplined all around. I'm tuned up on my diet. I'm tuned up on my whole life. I'm tuned everything that I do. Once I break at something, I break on anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an extremist who can. The best example I can think of, to compare my diet with would be like if you're driving a race car. If you're driving a race car, you're not gonna put cheap fuel in it. You wanna be able to get the highest performance possible. So I spend a lot of time disciplining myself and preparing to eat the right food. I want to go into the gym and I want to have the maximum amount of energy that I can possibly have. I want to be there and not be, fatigued because I didn't eat the right food the night before. So, yes, I do. I spend a big part of my day, of my time, is being spent trying to prepare the right food and try to eat the right food. And especially as I get older now, I'm 45 years old. I don't have a whole lot of room for mistakes. I have to be very, very, very disciplined with my diet. It's so important. They cannot overemphasize the importance of your diet and then the longevity of the athlete. Because, you don't want to look at your athletic ability as an X amount of years. It's a lifetime. It's something that you do as long as you can for the rest of your life, It's part of my life. It's a way of life. So discipline, diet, and discipline. My whole philosophy on the art of fighting, it comes down to, I know it's going to sound a little bit tacky, but it's a spiritual philosophy, it's a belief, it's a faith. You prepare, you do everything, but the last few days, it's all about faith, to really bring myself to that state of mind. There is no losing, there is no winning. It's a challenge, it's an obstacle. It's a time for me to challenge my philosophy, to walk in the ring, each step walking into the ring, like I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. It's become very simple to me. One of my favorite pieces of literature is Plutarch on Alexander the Great. It wasn't so much that Plutarch tried to depict the life of Alexander, the details of his life. He specifically dealt with Alexander's character. And one of the things and it's so beautifully written, anybody who has a chance to read The 9 Lives by Plutarch, I would very highly recommend it. And Alexander constantly put himself in situations where, I don't want to use the word fear, I want to swear his instincts, he looked for obstacles, he looked for dangers, he looked for situations that would bring his instincts on the edge. Most people call that fear. But it's nothing more than one's instincts preparing themselves for war, for action. And some of us get intimidated when we are in those situations. Others react greatly in the face of danger. I don't think, is a part of my exercises, part of my life, my daily life duties is to constantly find situations that would bring my instincts on the edge, and then learn how to deal with all this energy, and learn how to control it, take advantage of it rather to get intimidated by it. And I want to, again, when I walked into the ring, everything is alive. I'm alive. There's nothing like it. You're walking up the steps. You're going over the ropes. You're looking at your opponent. I'm watching God, my opponent. My obstacle is God himself. I want to play moments. Everything I've prepared for, everything I've done, now I have to put it in action. What is my opponent doing, and how am I reacting to it? Try not to get overly excited or not to be too compliant. Try to be right in the moment. What does he do? How do I react about it? At the end of the fight, yes, I want to be victorious. Yes, I want to be famous. Yes, I want to make a lot of money. Yes, I want to see people say, man, what a fantastic fighter Stefanos is. But then I have to calm down and really try to look at the big picture